Alright, so we're back in the shop. We waited till night because it was hot today. So got our stogie, and we're gonna finagle with the Jeep some more. Went and got some more parts, got some shortened brake line like we need, and we got this. Let me show you this. Let you guess. What do you think's in this box? Like just okay. There you go. The hell do you think's in that box? I just couldn't imagine what it could possibly be. That's right, it's the seat. I finally got the seat in. It only took a month of Sundays. And the fan's turning, that's the noise, as always. Never seen a seat shipped like that before. I was expecting the back to be separate from the bottom and it be in a square box, not in an L-shaped box, so that's kind of handy. Never seen that before. It's fancy. So, got that, got the seat, got the brake lines, and we got, pick these up, which I need. These are the springs, these little funky blue springs here. They're kind of oval shaped and they've got a kickoff loop off of them. That's part of the brake assembly. Those springs go onto these bars. These are the bars that the gentleman on eBay told me that you can't get. Nobody makes them. Yeah, that's what that is. So this runs between your shoes. The spring goes on one side, hooks into the back side of the shoe, and this is like the divider bar between the shoes. You need two of those. You need two of the springs. So now we've got that. The only component we're waiting on is those parking brake arms from New York. They're supposed to be here next Friday. So today is Thursday, so they're supposed to be here next Friday. So between now and then, we're going to see about getting the seat bracket crap figured out. We're going to see about getting the brake lines hooked up in the back. And do some more button-up stuff. Paint the inside of the tub. I would like to rhino line it, or get some of that liner in a can or something. I might do that. I might just paint it black. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Don't really care. Gonna paint it something. Something's gonna be upon it. I just don't know what yet. So probably whatever's the most easy. Probably where we're gonna go. So yeah, let's open this box, have a look at the seat, and see if we're pleased. See if the traveler is pleased with it or not. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm gonna get this camera pointed down. We'll have a look, see at the seat. It came already almost open, which is nice. That's what I like seeing. When you pay an arm and a leg for something for it to be half falling out of the way. See, I didn't even open this. This is how it came, so that's nice. Thank you, Quadratech. So, and you get your instructions down here. This is a rugged ridge low back seat. Apparently it's made by Omics. There's your warranty, blah blah. And then it gives you instructions on how to mount it to your old bracket. So I think it was supposed to come with bolts, which are not in here unless they're in this styrofoam. So I don't know. It's always nice when they send you stuff and it's not there. That's the seat. It's a pretty good looking seat. Oh, they're just loose, like just slung out everywhere. That's awesome. Well, you got one bolt, two washers. There's supposed to be 4 bolts, 4 washers. Thank you, Rugged Ridge. That's nice. That's nice and handy when you only get part of the hardware. But as far as the seat goes, I dig it. I think that'll be much better looking. I like low back seats in Jeeps. I think they look better. So we can come up with the hardware elsewhere, but it appears to be made fairly well. It's got a good cushion in it. This seat's $175, I think. So, I mean, it's not free, but it's not crazy high either, so. And the bottom of it appears to be rather simple. So yeah, I'm hoping this will look good in our high quality AMC. I'll bring you over here and let you look at the bottom of it. It's nothing fancy, but maybe you want to see it. Get you lowered down here. I know y'all love it when I do this, when I lower you down. That's how it works. It's show business, people. Anyway, so yeah, so you just got your bars here, nothing fancy. You got two holes, so you got two different positions. And you just take these off of this seat, because all you're getting is this, and you put it on that seat. And so you can adjust your distance of the seat from the dash if you put it in that other hole there, I presume. So, yeah. Let's take these brackets off of this seat. And they're dirty. I really should paint them black. So I might just wire wheel them and paint them. Won't put them on tonight, but wire wheel them a little bit. Because that would look like hammered shit sitting underneath the new seat. But either way, we got to take them off. So let's take these off real quick. Shouldn't be nothing fancy to that. Let's see. Shouldn't be nothing. It's 4 bolts. I'll move you back before I smack you with the seat here. So, that's a 1/2 inch. Let me go grab my socket. This will look a hell of a lot better than this raunchy seat here, because this seat has seen better days. Probably just reuse these bolts, honestly. A lot nicer. Nice and rusted up. There's this hole is stretched on this one, so. There you go. Just spike your Milwaukee on the ground. That's what you want. I love this tool, by the way. You can tell by the fact that I spike it on the ground. But anyway, I love this tool. It's the only Milwaukee that I got, because I'm a Makita man and I like rigid, but only certain tools of rigid. I'm actually a Makita fanboy. But if you don't have one of these battery-powered ratchet, what are you doing? It makes everything in your life better. There's your one seat bracket. Nothing to it. Rather straightforward. This bracket goes on the right side of the seat. it's shaped a little different, the mounting point, so we'll have to remember that when we go to put them on the other seat. So that means we'll have to refer back to this video because I will forget. So get you over here. We'll just clean these up on the wire wheel and use them since the seat that I bought didn't come with the appropriate amount of stuff. For some reason the screws in the back are short screws, so I have to keep that in mind. Some of this stuff I say so that I can rewatch this video when I go to put this crap back together and it makes more sense. So put those off. We can take this turd, put it somewhere else. That thing is nasty. It's all twisted and effed, so hoping this seat will be much, much, much nicer. Much nicer. So let's go wire wheel these real quick. We'll spray them black and then we'll move on to the brakes, because that's where the fun begins. Over here to the wheel, it's important to wear your safety goggles, and that's called squinting. Okay. That's enough for right now. We're gonna hit them with the angle grinder with the wire wheel, and that will get it ready to high quality paint this unit. I knew what I did with my angle grinder. It's got the death wheel on it. There it is. It's over there. It's on the floor a little bit. You're a little up in the air. I want you looking down on me. Take our Makita here. Get a little handsy with the brackets. So yeah, now this hole in the bracket is wallered out quite a bit, which it's supposed to be stretched, but it appears that the bolt was loose, so the seat bracket was shifting. But the brackets overall are in pretty good shape. They don't appear to be bent, which is nice. So we're gonna paint them up real nice. So get over here to our painting booth, because we gotta do it right. We're gonna use this engine paint that didn't stick to the F-head engine to paint these with, because why not? So and we don't hardly have enough either, so that's even better. you a little bit where you might could see something. While we're doing this, did you ever stop and consider? You hear so much about the Great Pyramid at Giza, about how it was built by aliens, or if you want to believe what they claim, which was that it was built over the course of like 22 years, all that kind of stuff, right? Everybody always is talking about the Egyptian pyramid, which there's plenty of things strange about the Egyptian pyramids at Giza, but regardless of that, do you ever stop and consider the fact that the Aztecs built pyramids on pretty much just as large a grand scale? The Aztecs have a pyramid that's exactly the same base diameter and exactly half as tall as the Great Pyramid at Giza, right? Except for they built theirs with no metal tools, no draft animals, and without the wheel. Yeah, do you ever think about that? You still think it's not aliens? I'm not saying it's aliens, I'm just saying it's impressive. Let's say that. It's highly impressive that a civilization with no metal tools, no draft animals, and without the wheel is able to build pyramids with these massive stones that are so gorgeous. The pyramids in the Aztec Empire were amazing. And it's also important to remember that Mexico City, where it sits, was the ancient capital of the Aztec Empire, and they built that island, okay, where modern-day Mexico City sits, originally was like a swampy area that the Aztecs made a man-made island on with 3 causeways running to it and built pyramids and crap on top of it. Okay? Right, that's impressive. Now, I think the Aztecs had the wheel by the time the Cortez conquistadors, the Cortez expedition, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it, by the time they show up, I think they probably had the wheel by then. I don't know if they did or not. Either way, it's pretty damn impressive, even if they had the wheel. Let's give them the wheel. Let's say they had the wheel. No metal tools, no draft animals. It's impressive. It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. But just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there. I dig me some Aztec, Mayan, Olmec stuff. I dig it. They got stuff done. They got a hell of a lot of sacrifices done too. There's accounts from the day using Aztec resources that describe them sacrificing upwards of 20,000 people in the day during one of their own ceremonies consecrating a temple. So they weren't shy about the whole sacrificing thing. The Incans weren't so much into that. They did sacrifice people, but it was more on a as-needed basis. It wasn't a constant thing. The Aztecs, from what we understand, truly believed that the sun would not rise if they didn't sacrifice a certain number of people. Which, this is nice that my can of paint here has just decided to die. Hang on a second. Just spray this with a little bit of brake cleaner, because as you all know, brake cleaner is the answer for all things. Paint can won't spray, brake cleaner fixes it every time. Anyway, I was rambling. The Incans would sacrifice people too, but they didn't do it quite as often. The Mayans also did some human sacrifice, but not to the prolific level that the Aztecs did. So it's always good to be good at something. And the Aztecs were pretty hardcore. There's a reason why all the locals, when the conquistadors showed up, whether you think the conquistadors are evil brutalizers or not, there's a reason why a lot of the local natives aligned themselves with the conquistadors, is because the Aztecs weren't exactly friendly either, okay? It's worth noting that that people were getting tired of having their kids taken and everything, and everybody taken during warfare and sacrificed to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. some people didn't so much like that. So the conquistadors at least offered an opportunity for the Aztecs to go away, which seemed to work out. Now, the conquistadors didn't exactly treat the natives well either, but that's beside the point. They weren't sacrificing 20,000 of them a day to Quetzalcoatl. I've had vehement debates with people about this because they're like, the Aztecs never did that. You're like, no, the Aztecs did that. The Aztecs sacrificed a lot of people. Well, the way they would do it is they take you to the top of the pyramid, they cut your heart out, and then kick your body down the pyramid steps. There's accounts from missionaries that when they got there with the conquistadors, that the top building on top of the pyramid, that the walls were painted 3 inches thick with blood, layers of human blood. Okay, the Aztecs did a lot of neat shit, right? They built awesome pyramids, they had aqueducts, they had all kinds of elaborate constructions all over the place. Their empire was huge, most advanced civilization on this side of the world. But they were pretty damn brutal, right? At the same time, it's like the Romans. The Romans were incredible. The shit the Romans did was incredible. But they were pretty savage as well. So lots of times it goes hand in hand. We're just going to paint it all right now. Hell with it. We can always do some touch-up work later if we have to. But anyway, just thought I'd throw out some random crap about the Aztecs and whatnot. I always fancied the conquistadors because the conquistadors at their time was the most advanced explorers in the world. I mean, do some reading about what the conquistadors did and where they explored. Everybody hears about Ponce de Leon and all that and all the stuff he was looking for, but he really wasn't looking per se for the Fountain of Youth. He was just kind of, he wasn't going to say no if he found it, but he was doing lots of stuff. And I believe that Ponce de Leon died along the banks of the Mississippi River. So you think about the time frame that Ponce de Leon is here. It's early, right? There's nothing here, nothing, right? There's just scattered Native American settlements. He's not running into like massive civilizations like the Aztecs in North America, right? It's basically a barren wilderness with small isolated tribes scattered all over the place that he's interacting with. Most of the time when the conquistadors were traveling through Florida or wherever, they're just in a wasteland of just nothingness. They're not really interacting with very many people. They run into people, but it's not like these people were congregated into massive civilizations. They were spread out. They're nomadic. They move around. So most of the time it's just him and the conquistador boys just roaming around in the wilderness in an area they've never seen, never heard of, that there's no accurate maps of. And they're wearing all this fancy armor and crap, and it's incredible to think about. Like, it would have had to been the equivalent of just being on another planet. And it's insanity to think about that just, you've lived your whole life in Spain or whatever and exploring, and then you just show up on this continent that you didn't even know about until a few years ago, and just start exploring shit and going around, and you're seeing all these animals you've never seen. You're talking to people that you've never heard of, and you don't know what they're saying, and they've got all these fancy things and customs and stuff that you don't know anything about. They think you're an alien, you think they're alien. Like, it's a whole, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's fancy. So yeah. And that is all we got to say about that. Anyway, we've got these brackets crudely painted, so now we're going to let them dry. And hopefully, it'll look a lot better than it did. When I flip them over, I might have to touch them up. I don't know, but I don't know. Well, this side I didn't even get any paint on, so. I don't know, a few people seem to like the little history lesson that I gave yesterday in that other video, so we thought I'd switch it up, do one today. It's nothing in particular, it's just something I'm like thinking about, doing some history talk and some videos. You're certainly not going to learn much about history in the current education system, so I certainly didn't. Even then, that's going to college for it. I certainly didn't get much of a education in it. Most of the stuff I know I accrued over the years of doing research on my own or doing it for school, but not in college, if that makes sense. And we're back, because I had to go change the battery in the camera, because the GoPro, as much as I love it, the batteries in it suck, and they last like 5 minutes. But I wanted to do a little search here to make sure I wasn't talking out my derriere about the Aztecs, because I haven't brushed up on the Aztecs in a minute. So I said the Aztecs did not have the wheel, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't wrong, because I know one of y'all call me out on it. So apparently, this is on a website about Mexico, and it says apparently the Aztecs had wheels on toys, but there's no evidence that they applied them in any other capacity. Which I'd heard that before. I forgot about that they have like little toys with wheels on them. But there's no evidence that they had the wheel like for carts or things like that. The Mayans don't appear to have had the wheel either. It appears that they used rollers to roll things around, stones and stuff, but they didn't have like an actual wheel. So yeah, anyway, just want to make sure. I don't want nobody calling me out, okay? I don't want to hear it. Red Clay Traveler said the Aztecs didn't have a wheel and they had a 454 Chevelle, I don't want to hear it, all right? Anyway, back to this. We've got these brackets painted. They look pretty nice. That'll look a lot better going with that seat. I'm very pleased with the seat, by the way. I think it's going to look nice. I feel like it is. So if those dry fast enough, we'll see about putting those brackets on. But right now we're going to switch back over to the brakes, and I'm going to see about struggling up underneath this Jeep and seeing if we can't get these brake lines hooked up so that there's nothing stopping us from reassembling the rear brakes on our 1980 CJ5. We got to put a union right here. Got to put a union on this line and then connect another line to it to run over to the wheel cylinder. So it's not like it's super complicated or anything, but This is my favorite thing in the world, is struggling with brakes. My favorite thing. And grabbing the wrong wrench is my other favorite thing. Ow! Hitting my head is also a favorite thing. Alright. Come on. Come on. Get this tight as Dick's hat band so it'll leak no matter what, but regardless. We'll call that good enough. And then we got, I need to get the brake line holder that actually attaches to one of these differential cover bolts. I really need to get one of those and put them on, but we can do that later. We're gonna see if we can't hook this crap up, just like it is. We're gonna hook it up. It's gonna be great. It's pleasant. You should buy a Jeep and do this all yourself, because it's so much fun. I really do enjoy it more than I carry on, but it does suck at the same time, if that makes any sense. It's not great, but it is, but it's not. So, yeah, so that's that side. Successfully ran. Then all we gotta do is turn this line and plug it into the wheel cylinder, which is probably gonna suck, but we're gonna take the wheel off for that. So let's do that. Alrighty then. Let's see. Get you brought over here if we can. I don't know if y'all can see anything. This is not as easy as it looks to film, alright? It's not. There's nowhere good to put lights, and where you can put them, they're in the way. That's a little better. So you still can't see what I'm working on, but all you got is the back of the wheel cylinder on the back side, and we're just going to take this brake line, and we're going to try to get it started into the hole that I can't even see. So, which is always awesome. And you got to do this without kinking the brake line too, which is, you know, because they put this bend, they got to put it where you can't get to it worth a damn. and then you gotta bend your brake line all over the place to get to it, which is just fancy as it gets. And nothing will make you want to punch a puppy more than trying to get a brake line fitting started. So I do not recommend that you punch puppies. I'm just saying. Apparently it's gonna fight. So once I get it hooked up, I will return to you. How about that? Sounds good? Sounds good. All right, great. Go subscribe while you think about it. All right, so we've got that hooked up now, finally. This crap right here is all hooked up. So it's a pain. If you've ever done this, you know it's a pain to get, basically to get, hang on, let me show you. To get a brake line nut started in a wheel cylinder or anywhere into a master cylinder or anything, because the brake line's got under tension and you've got to put it in just right. You've got to hold your mouth just right in order for it to go to its home, and it wants to fight you. So I had to turn the camera off, focus so that I didn't grab the brake line and snap it, because it I kind of wanted to there for a minute. But got it into the wheel cylinder, got the holders that hold the brake line along the axle, the one that attaches the differential cover, got it on, got the one that's on the axle tube itself, got it on. So this side is hooked up. So all we got to do on this side is assemble the brakes, and we're done with this side. The other side, I got to put the wheel cylinder in and hook the brake line up on the other side as well. So nothing fancy, same thing as this. I've got to cut a brake line down and crudely make a flare on the end of it and hook it up. I'm not going to make you suffer through watching that, but regardless. But then all we got to do is wait on this part. We've got everything else we need. Now, I don't know if the parking brake cable moves freely or not. I'm going to have to check that, because I would like it to have parking brakes, because if you've ever been wheeling, there's times where maybe you need to stop on a hill or something, you need to get out, work on the Jeep, something like that. I don't want to just trust my AMC to stay in position by putting it in gear, so it'd be nice to have the parking brake. It would be a fancy upper class thing to have, so we're going to see if we can't do that. And these brackets are almost dry, I think, so I might actually slam those on the bottom of the seat and set the seat inside the Jeep and see what it looks like. I bet it's going to look good. So I might do that as well. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hook up this other brake line over here, and then I'll see if the brackets are dry. If they're dry, then we'll mount those to the seat, and we'll put the seat in there and see what it looks like. But until then, don't go anywhere. Smoke them if you got them. All right, get it. All right, so we got these seat brackets on. Yes, we got the brake lines finally hooked up, and then we got the brackets put on here, which this one I had to bend a little bit to get it to go, because the holes weren't lined up at all, but we got it on there. Of course, that's better. Once you get it slid back a little bit, that's a lot better there. I didn't have it slid far enough back because I'm stupid. So, yeah, that's better. Of course, it's still like the back of it's jammed against your fender well now, which is not what you want. Probably going to have to do some slight fabrication to get it where it'll go in there the way I want it to go, but I don't know. We'll figure that out next time, though. How about that? Once we get the floor paint and everything like that, then we'll, like I say, I don't care. We'll drill a hole in the floor, we'll slam a bolt in anywhere we need to. I don't care. But either way, until next time, until the next video, keep on keeping on. And remember, Willys for life. Just do it. Just buy a Jeep. Do it. Buy a Jeep. Buy an AMC. Do it. Do it. You won't regret it, except for the times that you do. Have a pleasant tomorrow. Jeeping. Get it.